Welcome to the Life and Times of JC Otero for episode 10. Writing is in my blood. So it's currently 3:30 a.m. on November 30th, my 33rd birthday, and this is episode 10. My goal is to knock out all 33 on this day of my birthday, so that way I can get the ball rolling, build up some momentum, so that way moving forward, I could maybe generate some videos on just current experiences of things that are happening in my life because I've had this project to document my life for the longest of time and kind of create like a reality TV show, but in book format, along with corresponding videos. I've been putting it off for like many years, and so now it's just like I'm gonna get it done. So, anyways, enough about that. So this particular episode, as the title mentions, writing is in my blood, which once again is like, well, this is a video blog kind of thing, dude. Who cares about your writing? Well, at some point, I'm going to actually write like an ebook. And then how it's going to work is people, once they buy the one copy, then moving forward, they'll get the updated copy every year. That's like 1 year of updated experiences, if that makes sense. Anyways, so yeah, and I'm also hopefully shooting to publish some other book that I've been just sitting on for a long time related to my travels of being a Airbnb. Um, my wife and we traveled for a total of 403 days over the course of 18 months. Stayed in like 113 cities, and I wrote a small book about 35 pages on how to be an Airbnb superhost. So, anyways, in the previous episode, I talked about I ain't no wuss about the experience when we went skydiving, and then kind of like wrapping it up, talk about how like roller coasters and going to theme parks, and that's kind of like my beginning part of adventure side. So that got me thinking, it's like, man, Fiesta Texas, that place is awesome. I haven't been there in so long, and I try and convince people to go. And like for some reason, I guess like now that I'm like older, 30s or 20s or whatever, people just don't really like theme parks that are my age. So I'm looking forward to like my nieces and nephew like getting the age where like, oh cool, you want to go to Fiesta Texas? Cool, let's do it. Slitterbond, love it. Um, but anyways, so you're like wondering what the hell? Writing's in my blood. I gotta get the book thing. We're talking about Fiesta Texas. What? So anyways, so a little bit more background before I get to it, right? So my mom is a children's book author. She's authored, I think, 2 books. I've helped her with both of them, edited one of them, some drawings from when I was a kid in there. They never got like humongous or anything like that, but they're out there. I think you can Google it. You can find it on Amazon. The second book is very embarrassing. The cover, once you see it, you'll know why I pleaded not to go with that, but we did. Anyways, but all in all, she still published a book. Very proud of her, and so that's why I say writing's in my blood because she's an author and she writes children's stories. And one of the things that I'm trying to do is help her with some stories right now. She has another book idea she wants to do, and ultimately she wants to make kind of like cartoons or see one of her stories become like on the big screen, which would be really cool. And luckily, through one of my Dale Carnegie class, one of the students, he's a comic book artist. So I see that as kind of like I don't believe in coincidences, and so things happening by chance. So I saw it as an opportunity to start talking to him. He's helping me with another project, but then we're also going to see if we can get something going from my mom's side. But in relation to this particular video, writings on my blood in Fiesta Texas, I'll connect the dots for you now. And so I don't remember the exact year, but I know that I was living in villas at Castle Hills. So I know it was between first grade and 8th grade at some point. And I want to say that it was probably like, if I had to guess, I'd say third to 5th grade, maybe, if I had to guess, around that time frame. Basically, what happened was in the apartments we were living at, they had a contest, and the contest was for the kids in the community to write a short story. But it had to relate to like water and saving water because at an apartment, people leave water faucets on, tubs, things like that. There's a lot of waste of water. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess the initiative, looking back on it, really cool, is like, okay, well, let's teach kids about water preservation or whatever. Let's see if them write stories on it. And so I had this idea, it was like Aquaman, which I think was already like a superhero, but he was my Aquaman. And this Aquaman, he somehow knew where all the water was like being wasted at. He somehow like arrived there or whatever. So I wrote a story, And first prize I think was like $200. And at the time I was like, man, $200 is so much stuff. I was already making a list of all the stuff I was gonna buy, and then I got second place. I was like, man, that sucks, man. This was like a killer story, man. This was gonna make the big screen. This was huge. But hey, man, at least I got second place. So I was still bummed out about it. But the second place was a season pass to Fiesta Texas. And little did I know that Fiesta Texas was way cooler than freaking getting $200. Yes, for $200 you could have bought a season pass to Fiesta Texas, but I already went into it with my biases. I would have bought something else. So this was probably like a godsend. And it turned out that like the cool kids at school also had season pass to Fiesta Texas. So it was like, this is way cool. They had a water park, roller coasters, all types of stuff. So, anyways, as a result of like my early riding skills, I won this contest, which then got me to Fiesta Texas, which then I got to go quite often. I was going like almost every weekend with like my friends and stuff. Because like, what's cooler than going to a theme park when you're like in fifth grade, right? Like nothing, or fourth grade, whatever grade it was. Man, we rode roller coasters. It was awesome. And then so ever since then, I've always really had a knack for writing. That's also one thing that I've really tried to develop further is just my organization of thoughts and ability to communicate them. And I definitely have like other book ideas and stuff like that. Like one idea that I tossed around when I was working at Dell was like, man, that'd be really cool if there was like, a book idea would be like it'd be called a corporation, and it basically would be like a mishmash of all the you know big corporation stories, and then it'd be like an employee that then like goes and like solves it within the corporation. So anyway, so I have all these other book ideas, but right now, help my mom. I'm gonna publish this Airbnb book, and then eventually get this life story of mine, the life and times of JC Otero, the print version, and have like a digital version and like a small book, and then every year update it. But I love writing. One habit that I'm trying to develop more, and I was doing it pretty consistently for like 3 months, and then something happened in my life that kind of fell off track for a while, but gradually just trying to get it back on track, but I'm trying to journal in the morning and evening. I'm not doing it every day at the moment, but I hope this is a way of journaling and documenting things. But writing is just so key, and I found that one of the things about it is if you have a lot of things on your mind, you can just start writing. Like whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed out or anything like that, I just start writing. Like whenever I have an idea for something, whether it's something I want to do in the community or business idea or anything like that, big idea like traveling the world for like 18 months, like or whatever, or going on a trip. And I always think of like that end in mind, and then I like to write out what that is, so that it becomes more and more of a clear picture. And as I've educated myself more on a lot of other wisdoms, things like that, I realize that there's extreme power on that, right? Like, so it first starts in your mind, right? Like a sense of reality, because your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and what you have in your mind and outside. Like there's been studies on that. I can talk about that in another episode. But it's those thoughts, and until you actually like give those thoughts life by putting them on paper, that's when they start becoming real, right? And so whether you want to do that like with like fictional stories, I mean those become movies, right? Or nonfiction, or like with me, like it's all about constant, never-ending improvement. So I'm like always trying to read and write and improve myself and things like that. Like I probably wouldn't get like a thrill like trying to write like a fictional murder mystery. Like that's just not my thing. But if it's like a manual on how to like teach kids like entrepreneurship or something like that, like that's something that I also need to start writing more about, that I've done quite a bit. But just write. Just write out. It's gonna help clear your mind, things like that. So hopefully sometime after this video, maybe you'll buy one of my books or tell someone about it. Who knows? So I will talk to you again here in the next episode. We're cracking along right here. I'm like episode 10. I'm like almost a third of the way there. At 11, I'll be a third of the way there. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to try and shoot for. Just got a cup of coffee here. So I'm definitely going to make every effort to get 33 done before the end of the day at 11:59 p.m. And then it started getting me thinking, like, man, dude, if I really lived to 117 by the time I'm like 60 years old, it's going to be so hard to do 60 in one day. So what I'm going to do, just saying this right now, putting it all out there, is that like once I get to that point, if I don't get like all of them done in one day, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to release all that I have, and I'm not going to stop until I get them done like right away. So that's my guarantee in the future birthdays. Talk to you soon.